Well, hello everyone. It's time for coffee and a catch up. This is going to be my second vlog. I released my first one about 6 o'clock this morning, and it wasn't the runaway success. It's been viewed 2 times, both by me. You never know, it might catch on. I suppose these things do take time, so I'm going to be as patient as I can be and just keep filming and releasing and hoping that my little community that I dream of appears. And until then, I'll just talk to myself and talk to the camera. I'm sure there must be so many people who've gone through this in exactly the same way. Some people who achieve great success slowly but surely, some people who have overnight success, and I envy and admire, definitely. And I'm sure there must be many people who, like me, create their first video, put it up, and it doesn't even get seen. You know, whether people don't like your thumbnail or whether it just, the algorithm just doesn't send it out there to people. I don't know. I don't really know how it works. You know, perhaps Mr. YouTube doesn't like me, maybe. But maybe, we'll see. Anyway, undeterred, vlog number 2. There were lots of things I was going to do in between, and as always, if I film something and I don't edit it straight away, the chances are it's never going to see the light of day because I forget what I've done. So I'm going to start keeping a bit of a journal of what I've recorded and what I talked about, so that I don't miss anything, and also so that I don't repeat myself too much. So today I'm going to talk about retirement, why I retired when I did, how I managed to retire when I did, and what I'd like to do with my retirement, I suppose. And yeah, so my name is Colette. I am 60 years old. I have to keep reminding myself of that because until recently I was 59. So yes, my name is Colette. I am 60 years old and I retired about 4 or 5 months ago. 4 months ago, 4.5 months ago. So effectively I was 59 2/3 when I retired. I really wanted to retire before I was 60. Well, I really wanted to retire when I was 55, if I'm really honest. But that's, you know, you don't always get what you want. I was working as a contractor in IT projects, sometimes business projects, just any projects really. Working in London for a big insurance company. It was a day rate, it was a really good rate. I worked from home in this room. I had a good boss that I'd speak to from week to week, maybe. I had a lovely team that we'd have a daily catch up. They all worked all over the place, some in France, some in other parts of the UK, some in America. So yeah, the team was everywhere. There was nobody watching over me, nobody checking what I did every day. I just did what I had to do and did what I was asked to do. No issues at all. It wasn't particularly stressful. I mean, sometimes, you know, there was an unexpected deadline that you had to work to, but I can't say as it was difficult work. And I was certainly generously recompensed, yes, for my time, compensated for my time. And I had the potential of another 2 years of work in the pipeline. There was another project that was going to be kicking off after this one was due to end, which I think it's due to end around about now, this project that I was on. But I just decided, I've been working through the numbers for years and years on the back of a bit of paper, and every time I'd look at it and go, no, you can't retire yet. And I'd check a week later and I still couldn't retire. Like nothing really seemed to budge. And a few life events came along. I separated from my husband on very good terms, and we have just almost concluded the financial settlements. So I kind of know where I'm at with that. Yeah, and I just, when I looked at the numbers, I realised that I could work for another couple of years and I would be really comfortable in retirement. I say really comfortable, not the government's or the standard of retirement, where if you have £45,000 a year to spend, that's comfortable. I mean, that's just obscenely comfortable. I can't even imagine spending that sort of money. But yeah, so I'm trying to say, I might have to edit those out. Anyway, I looked at the numbers, and I've been tracking my spending for the last 11 months almost. And I know I could survive on the state pension. It would just be survival. It would be existing. There would be very little fluff in there, but I could survive. So if I had half again as much as the state pension, then, you know, that would give me, you know, more than just fluff. So I think I could live reasonably comfortably on £18,000 a year. So I own my own flat. So this is a flat in London. I own it outright, so there's no mortgage, no rent to pay, and I know I'm very lucky. I bought it a long time ago when I was a younger version of me, and have been able to pay it off in the intervening years. Yeah, which means I don't need an awful lot. I need enough to cover my monthly bills and my food shopping, and then enough really just to be able to go out and do some stuff. And I think £500 a month roughly for bills, maybe 600 including all subscriptions. You know, if I include, you know, Netflix and Spotify and YouTube Premium and Prime, and what else do I subscribe to? Various bits of software, you know, sort of Bitdefender for my computer, and there's a graphic design Envato Elements that I subscribed to years ago, which I keep forgetting to cancel, which is very good. And you know, when I get better at doing these videos, I might use some of the clips and bits and pieces and make it more slick. And I think a Creative Fabrica, there's New York Times, there's a Daily Telegraph, there's various things. I mean, if I got rid of all of those, then I'd have a lot more money to spend. But I reckon if I said £600 a month for all of my bills and subscriptions, and £200 a month for food, which I can easily live off of £200 a month. I could probably do £100 a month if push came to shove, realistically. So if I said £700 or £800 for all those outgoings, then if I had another 800 a month to spend, that's a lot. That's £200 a week, and realistically, that's very doable. I say all of that where I've been tracking my budget for the last almost 11 months. I've actually been spending probably £1,800 or £1,900 a month, but I've been doing quite a lot of stuff around the flat. So I'm hoping a lot of those once-off spends that I've been doing. You know, I bought some locks for my bicycle, which I haven't taken out yet. So that's, yeah. I bought some paint. I'm redoing the front door and porch and hall. I bought some drills. I wanted to put up some shelves inside and out in the garage, and I have various bits and pieces actually for the house that I've spent some money on. So I'm hoping that my spend will start to decrease. So anyway, based on that, I think in round about late last year, I was looking at my numbers and I worked out that if I live to my mid-80s and I'm frugal, but I still live, you know, I still do things, because that's really important, that I would probably die at least owning this flat outright still, or I might have sold it and downsized to something smaller or a bit further out. But I would probably die with some money in the bank. And I don't have children. That's a lifestyle choice. So I don't have anyone. I mean, I've got nephews and nieces. I have people I can leave things to, but I have no pressing need to leave anything. So I figured if I have enough to live off, if I go frugally, and I don't care about leaving wads of money to people, why would I continue to work? That was my thinking. I mean, the other side of the coin was if I worked for another year or two, I'd have a lot more money to spend. So if I wanted to go on an expensive cruise versus a cheap cruise, or stay in a nice hotel versus a 2-star hotel. That would have made the difference. But really, I don't care much about that sort of stuff. I've always been a bit of an intrepid traveller, so if I go travelling, as long as where I stay is relatively safe, I don't actually mind if I have to jump on a bus or a metro or a tram, or if I have to walk a mile to see the touristy thing. So I figured I'd rather have time than the money, because that was the triangle, deciding whether time, health, wealth, really. And I don't know how long I have to live. None of us do we? I have no idea how long my good health will last. But the one thing I do know is how much money I've got. So I figured if I factor it in, and I'll qualify for the state pension. I think I've got 2 years short on national insurance that I need to catch up on. But other than that, I think I'll have enough. I think I'll have enough. Yeah, so that was my thinking. But I suppose, how much is enough? How much is enough for everyone else? How much is enough for you? Yeah, how much is enough? How much do you think you need? And where is that line? I mean, where is that line? I hear people who have financial advisors who always say, their clients say, will I have enough money? Sure, that's like the wrong question. That's the wrong question. It's really, will you have enough time? And I don't want to waste any of it. Or if I waste it, I want it to be my choice to waste it. So I retired at the end of January. 30th of January was my last working day. February, it was cold and dark and miserable, and I was just decompressing, to use a very blah blah word, sort of touchy-feely word, as I call them. But yeah, I was just kind of going, oh, it's just nice. And then March, I started to do a bit of stuff. And then, yeah, so April came and a bit of sunshine. I started to go out a bit more and do a bit more stuff. So yeah. And at the end of May, so a few weeks ago, I went on my first cruise. So I can tell you all about that on another video. But yeah, that was really good. It was good to get away and to not think about how much I was spending, what I was doing, just enjoying retirement and being able to tell people I retired. Yeah, not a lot of people said, "Oh, you look too young to retire." Yeah, there you go. But there were a lot of people who were younger than me that had retired, I have to say. Very very envious of those people who chose an even earlier retirement than I did. Anyway, rather than me waffling on, I'm going to get on with my coffee before I have to reheat it in the microwave again, and get this edited and posted. And if you do find me, come and say hello. Don't let me be only watched by me out there in the ether. I want to make this work. Anyway, look, thank you. If you have seen this and watched it, I appreciate it. And have a beautiful day.